here today with Kelly from Animal Krackers, and Kelly is joining us today to talk about body balancing with our equine friends and how to identify when we've got some body soreness issues. And specifically, Kelly, we were going to talk about saddle fit and how it contributes to some of that body soreness. And you're going to identify some of the points of interest that we can look for. And if we need more assistance and help, we can drop by and get with you for a fix.
You bet. We offer free saddle fitting at all of the places we are.
Excellent. Remember, folks, free saddle fitting checks by Animal Krackers from kid or tail at all events. So take advantage of that. Show us where to start looking, Kel.
The number one question we get when we're working with the horse's body balance is, why is my horse sore? Is my saddle not fitting properly?
Exactly.
So once we've got this horse lined up and we know that everything is balanced, primarily the shoulders being equal here, because you don't want one shoulder in front, otherwise that's going to cause your saddle to roll.
Gotcha.
Okay, so we've got this horse's feet squared up, his head is straight, and for all purposes of fitting the saddle, we know his shoulders are where they should be. Okay? And keep in mind, Spooky here is a little narrower through the body, a little bit of wither, nice wither to hold your saddle. So you're going to find a saddle that fits right through here. The bars of the saddle need to sit right along the top of this rib cage. And you also need enough clearance that you're not going to be trapping or pinching his withers. So the number one thing we're going to look at when we place the saddle on the back is that the swell underneath fits right in behind this shoulder and does not pinch his withers.
Right.
One of the easiest ways to do that is to put your saddle on with very little padding.
Got it. With some padding.
Some padding, but very little padding.
Okay.
A rug, a sheet, something. Towel, something very thin so that you can get that saddle close to the horse.
Okay.
And snug it up, pull it cinched tight so that it's snug. And you're going to want to, kind of step around the front here, slip your hand in so that the fingers drop right behind that bulge in the shoulder and underneath the saddle. And with that saddle snug, then when you lift that horse's leg, if your fingers feel a pinch, good stretch, boy, then you might be having a pinch on that horse's shoulders during competition.
So the leg is the key to feeling the pinch, not just running your hand under, because I think so many of us try to do that, and we don't know what we're feeling for.
Good point, Sheridan. If it's snug when you slip your hand under, then it's snug. That's all there is to it. But if it pinches you when that horse's leg comes up, that's even worse, because when that horse goes out there to do his job and turn the barrels, if he gets a pinch right here, he's going to start resenting his job. The next thing we want to feel is that when you get your hand up under the saddle and you run all the way along the back, that it's making contact all the way down. Again, with little padding, you can exercise your horse lunging or riding, and then check the sweat spots. That's the true tail. We don't want the saddle to trap the spine, so you should have an even sweat spot all the way down on both sides.
Now, the sweat spot is a big controversy, or a wise tail. If it's dry, does that mean that
there's pressure?
There's pressure. That's exactly what I was thinking. Some people felt like it wasn't making contact, but it's actually a symptom of pressure.
Correct.
And that's when you really want to have your saddle checked.
Correct.
Now, if it's not making contact here, as so many of us sometimes realize but don't know how to solve, it's tilted forward.
Correct.
And it doesn't have a good balance.
Correct. So many of our barrel racing saddles have a front cinch only. So therefore the saddle tends to want to pop up when the horse stops and drops around the barrel. We can add a back cinch, but if your horse is not accustomed to a back cinch, you can do a center rigging type of cinching so that it pulls from the back and the front at the same time, so that you have constant pressure all the way through.
Even pull, not just one or the other.
Correct. And a common misconception talking about padding is more padding is better. But we find that with these saddles of today, they fit the horse's body style so much closer that if you put an inch worth of padding under there, you're actually creating a pinch. Again, with your saddle pad, after you've determined your saddle fits your horse pretty good, now put the padding that you would use on race day and double check the tightness.
Try the same exercise with the front leg and see if you get that pinch.
You bet.
Because if it pinches him, eventually there's going to be performance issues. You
might
as well just look at it and deal with it.
There is. Absolutely.
Okay.
We've got Spooky here with, again, a narrower build, thinner body, and a high wither, and he's got pretty straight shoulders. We've got another horse in the side here that we're going to take a look at that is built a little bit different, that creates some different saddle fitting issues. Actually, he's pretty standard in fitting. He's got actually nice withers and a good back. to fiddle saddle to.
Now, the tendency, though, with him being lighter in frame, I've seen people would want to pad him up. And you're saying don't go for that temptation. No. Really take the time to find what gives him the best fit.
Right. You're going to want to find the tree that fits this horse's back,
right,
and go with minimal padding between the horse's saddle and the horse.
Excellent. Well, let's bring the other horse in and see the differences in the body type and address some of those concerns that we might have. Now, here we are with another body type horse, certainly more substantial, maybe a little less withers, a little broader loin. Tell us some of the concerns that we should look for here.
Dusty here is naturally a big-bodied girl. She has bulging type shoulders. Again, we want to make sure that those shoulders are even and that they match up on both sides. So when we do place the saddle down, we don't have a shoulder forward allowing that saddle to roll. But she has very little wither. Although I shouldn't say she has very little wither. It doesn't protrude as much.
It's not as prominent as Spooky's was.
She has this large mass here.
Exactly.
Definitely going to have to look for a saddle that does not trap her shoulders.
Right.
Something that puts the pressure here behind the shoulder and then equally throughout.
Exactly.
And the fact that she's round, where some of these horses have the shoulders are prominent and then they get hollow behind, she's full throughout.
Absolutely.
So I've had trouble fitting this horse due to the fact that there's
mass right here.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So we have this mass here to worry about. When I get it to fit here, then it doesn't fit through here.
Exactly. It would be a little too big through here possibly?
Correct.
Okay.
Way too big through there.
Got
so
it.
There are some things you can do once you get your saddle to fit as close as possible to the body style of the horse that you have. You can do a few things with padding. Back in the day, we used the build-up pads on a lot of our pleasure horses.
Exactly.
And they're not as common as they used to be. However, you can find some pads out there that allow you to put in material and take away material.
Those are
so
nice.
If you have a horse like this, where you find something that fits here, the key area that we're going to be worried about, then you can add a little bit of material to your pad back here to level your saddle out.
Okay. But the key to that would be doing the check. Make sure that you've got the even pressure through here, not lack up, because if you have a lack up, then you possibly need to look for another saddle.
Absolutely.
And you could cause more problems trying to shim things up. So it's cheaper in the long run and more advantageous to your horse to find something that really does
Absolutely. Fit. And I have to say that all of the saddle makers that we've ever worked with are very good to allow you to try a saddle. It has to fit your horse.
Absolutely.
Has to. And it has to fit you. You have to be comfortable when you're going there to compete. So, absolutely, number one, fit your horse's back, behind the shoulders, all the way through. Make sure that you're comfortable with the way that saddle cinches up and that you can sit in the saddle and feel comfortable with what you're doing.
And, of course, if you have any doubt, stop by for a quick checkup, a free checkup, and get that information so you can make the best overall choice. Because the whole goal is to go out and work on a horse that is body balance, and you can have a great time and reap the rewards of all your efforts.
And we want you to make your run successfully, make your ride successfully, and not come back with a sore horse. We want that saddle to fit right. So if you have any questions, please, by all means, stop by the booth.
And don't forget, you can join Animal Krackers at animalcrackersequine.com. Check out the website for more information, but be sure to check Barrel Racing Buzz for more of Kit and Tail's videos. Thank you so much for joining us.